Well, hello everyone. Here we are then, getting another round of championship predictions. Just two to go now, including this week. And it's still none the wiser, really, at either the top, bottom, and even now the playoffs are closing in again to be a little bit more competitive than I thought, or that for those last two places. Results, the teams at the top just seem to be feeling the pressure at the moment. So it's been an interesting weekend since I last did this review. So we have games starting tomorrow night that's Friday night, running through Saturday as usual, including a Saturday evening game and also a Monday night game. And we also have the game in hand. So everybody's got two games to go now, bar Coventry and Ipswich, who have their extra game to play, which is next Tuesday evening. And it could be absolutely vital for Ipswich, couldn't it? Depending on how results go over the weekend. Because it's getting very interesting everywhere now. And it's going just as neutrals want it, I guess, or those who don't support the clubs at either end of the table. We want to see a tight finish, down to the last game, down to the last 5 minutes or 10 minutes on, is it Sunday week of the 4th of May, I think it is. Is that Saturday? I forget. Yes, it's Saturday. Saturday the 4th of May, the final games. So we're hoping that there's bound to be something on the games that day that are critical to the top, bottom of the table. So let's get on with it then. So tomorrow night, just before I do that, let's tip our hats to Coventry. What a fantastic representation they've been for the championship this season. And how unlucky were they? Well, they were right. They were 3-0 down. Had nothing to go for. Nothing to lose by what they did. They just went for it. Got back to 3 each. What an unlucky decision it was for the 4-3 offside VAR decision. I mean, it's for another day to debate VAR maybe, but it's very frustrating too. It wasn't for me anyway, it wasn't what VAR was brought in for, those sort of forensic decisions. That's not what natural football is all about. Let's just play the game. If the referee and linesman haven't seen that sort of decision, it's not an obvious error, let's be honest. Yes, VAR was brought, has its uses, and it is cutting out the really poor errors, we hope. But no, that's not what VAR was brought in for. Coventry desperately unlucky, and then the penalties are a lottery, and they came up short. But what a representation they've been for the championship this season. As I say, hats off to them. So I'll get on with the first few matches then. And it's Friday night, as I say, Queen's Park Rangers versus Leeds. Now, Queen's Park Rangers had a good 1-0 win over Preston, which has put them in decent fare, really. 53 is still the magic number. They've got 50. Or 54 is still the magic number, because Birmingham can get 54. So there's still got a bit of work to do, but if you've got 50 points and 2 games to go, you're feeling pretty okay with life, I guess. So they're home to Leeds United, and Leeds United had a wonderful or exciting 4-3 win away at Middlesbrough. So they really said, right, come on, this is a hard job. They're into 90 points. What a shame if they don't go up with 90 points, but somebody is almost certainly not going to do that of those top 3. So I think Leeds they've got their first up of the 3, if you like. And I think they'll go to Queen's Park Rangers. Queen's Park Rangers have got the 50 points. They will relax, though they can't relax, but I think Leeds will be too good for them on the night, and they will just edge it in a close encounter. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Leeds United 2. That takes us on to the Saturday 3 o'clocks. And the first, I say first up, it's the first on the list, is Blackburn Rovers versus Coventry City, who we were just speaking about. Coventry had obviously no championship game since we last spoke, and we've just gone through what happened to them at the weekend. And Blackburn had, what Blackburn have been doing lately, really, getting good results against top sides, coming up short against mid-table and bottom or lower sides. And Sheffield Wednesday went there and got a very relieved 3-1 win. It's put them out of the relegation zone for now. They're a point ahead of Birmingham, but anything can happen. There's no point in trying to predict what's going to happen from the league point perspective. Anything is happening at the moment across in those really critical positions. it's becoming it's really interesting, as I say. So I think Blackburn will steal themselves a little bit. They've got to. They're 49 points. They know one win will do it. So Coventry perhaps there for the taking after their exertions and exploits in the week. They also had a game against Hull in the week that they narrowly lost 3-2, but they're just going to, they're just going to unwind and run down the season. No, they've still got a chance for the playoffs, but it's only a very small mathematical one, really. I think Norwich would have to lose both their matches, as would Hull, and it's too much. So Coventry playing for the pride, and good pride it is too with them. So I think Blackburn Rovers will take advantage of Coventry's sort of relaxed mode, if you like, or relaxed football, and edge them out in a home win. So Blackburn Rovers 2, Coventry City 1. Next up we have Bristol City versus Rotherham United. Bristol City had a decent draw at Norwich. Norwich will be disappointed with that. They couldn't put Bristol City away to really cement their playoff hopes. And now they're in a bit of a scrap with Hull again, who have come back a little bit, although I wrote them off almost. Well, I did. I will confess, I did write them off for the playoffs a couple of weeks ago after their poor run, and they didn't look set for it really. But they've taken advantage of some slips by Norwich, and Norwich slipped up again, as I say, drawing at home. After 8 successive home wins, Bristol City managed to stop them winning the 9th somehow in a 1-1 draw. Played very well, as I'm told. It was a decent match. They're playing Rotherham, who somehow, Birmingham, they played Birmingham at the weekend and drew 0-0. So Birmingham will be destined to be disappointed with that. We'll talk about them when we get to their fixture. So Rotherham going down to Bristol City, a nice way to end your away trips, I would think. Ashton Gate, decent place to play, a decent crowd will be in, and I think Bristol City will run out comfortable winners. They haven't scored that many goals this season, and I keep banging on about their lack of goals, and it's really been their downfall in a lot of matches. But I think they'll run out winners, and the fans home happy for the summer, and it'll be Bristol City 3, Rotherham United 0. Next up we have Cardiff City and Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough involved in that thrilling 4-3 game on Monday night, I think it was, or Tuesday, I forget now, I must admit, there's so much football this week. And Cardiff, they had a very good home win against Southampton. And Southampton really have fallen away from the top 2 places chances now, unfortunately, because they lost the game, as we'll talk about Southampton in a bit. So Cardiff had a good home win against a late goal, I think it was, seeing off Southampton on the day. Cardiff have perked up, really, to be fair. They slumped into mid-table. I say slumped, but from where they were a bit more expectant than to finish where they're going to finish in the sort of 10th to 14th bracket. So I think they'll beat Middlesbrough. I think Middlesbrough will just be on now. They know they can't do the playoffs anymore. They haven't been beaten in 5 though, so perhaps I'm doing them a slight injustice. But I think I'm going to go Cardiff City 2, Middlesbrough 0. Then we have Huddersfield Town and Birmingham City. And as I say, Birmingham City will be desperately frustrated not to have put Rotherham away. Rotherham really are fighting hard in games as they depart the Championship. So they really gave Birmingham a tough time. And Birmingham just couldn't really afford to drop those 2 points, because it would have really made them in a chance to stay up. Now they've got 2 games to sort it out. The maximum they can get is 52 points. That's if they win both matches, which is, I'm not sure they will. However, Huddersfield have had an even more rocky little period, because they were just showing some signs, and now they seem to be struggling quite a bit. They had a really poor defeat against Swansea, 4-0. Because Swansea, as I keep going on about these sides in the middle, Swansea, nothing to play for. They really are the teams that surely, if you really want to say, right, we're going to fight for every single ball and every single tackle, then you would expect it to come out better than 4-0 defeats. So anyway, Huddersfield in a bit of trouble. So this is a real humdinger, isn't it? I think whoever loses this is done for, possibly. He says it would certainly do Huddersfield. They're finished if they lose. Just about. Goal difference might save them, but they can only then get 47 points, and Sheffield Wednesday already have 47 points, so a point for Sheffield Wednesday in the last 2 games. So this is Huddersfield's absolute last chance saloon, and unfortunately I don't think they'll come up with the goods. I think Birmingham will come back from their poor result last weekend, and it will be Huddersfield Town 0, Birmingham City 1. And Millwall versus Plymouth. Millwall have safely in mid-table, 53 points, and their job is done from when they had that dodgy run just earlier in the new year. Plymouth, a little bit to do still, 48 points, 2 points ahead of Birmingham, so another win they need, perhaps another point as well, just to be absolutely sure. They had a poor result against Stoke, didn't show much there, I'm afraid, lost 3-0. And they're going down to the New Den, which would be a sort of a last home game celebration for Millwall, who have really picked up lately under that change of manager. So 3 wins on the trot. I think it'll be 4, and I think it'll be Millwall 2, Plymouth Argyle 0. And next up we have Norwich, who are playing Swansea, as they had that 4-0 win over Huddersfield. Norwich had the frustrating for them draw at home to Bristol City, so they're home again to get back on winning ways at home. I think they will. I think Norwich will say, come on, we're not going to let this slip now. Put themselves on 75 points, which will just about put them out of reach of Hull, because Hull can only get, I say only get, can get 75 points. So both West Brom, who are just above Norwich, and Norwich themselves need one more win out of the 2 games to just about guarantee the playoffs. As I say, yes, that'll be that. So I'm going to say they'll get that. There'll be another expectant crowd at Carrow Road, and I'm going to go Norwich City 3, Swansea City 1. Then we have Sheffield Wednesday against West Bromwich Albion. To say West Brom need that at the moment, need that 1 win, but if obviously points are dropped by Hull or Coventry, then they won't need to have that win, and come to that in Norwich. But here we are then. Sheffield Wednesday had that wonderful win for them at Blackburn last week. Are they starting to believe? It's 4 matches, 4 matches unbeaten, only 1 defeat in 6. So it's turned around a little bit for them. So another huge crowd will be at Hillsborough on Saturday against West Brom. And I'm going to say they're going to sneak it. I'm going to go for Sheffield Wednesday 2, West Bromwich Albion 1. In a bit of a surprise result there, I guess. But hey-ho, I just think Sheffield Wednesday have just got their points, got their act together at the right time. We shall see whether, going into the last weekend, whether I've read that right or not. So Sheffield Wednesday 2, West Bromwich Albion 1. Takes us on to Southampton and Stoke City. Southampton now can only get 90 points. When I say only, you know what I mean, in the context of having to chase the top 2, top 3 or top 2 as they were going for. They had, since we spoke, they have had 2 defeats. One a really poor one. I know it's Leicester City, but to lose 5-0 in any match when you're only a few points behind that same team was a poor result, disappointing for them. I think it was it's just got a step too far. They're playing a lot of games because of those postponements they had, which none of them was their fault. It was a bit of they didn't choose to have them postpone themselves. It was other factors that influenced Southampton's fixture list that really became just a bit too much. So they might as well dress themselves down, take a deep breath, come back for the playoffs. Even if they do get the 90 points total. It won't be enough now, because it means Leeds only need 1 point from 2 matches to prevent them going in the top 2. So this is almost not a dead rubber as such, but it's a game that may not have much riding on it as such. Other than Southampton, they won't want to drop away certainly their home form ready for the playoffs. So I think they will sneak it against Stoke. Stoke will come down, last away game, have a little bit of a party as teams and fans do. It will be Southampton 2, Stoke City 1. Then we have Watford and Sunderland. Watford chalked up another 0-0. I think that's 4 out of 5 or 3 out of 4. And in between another draw was the 2 each draw. No, they lost 3-2, didn't they? They lost 3-2 to Southampton, that's right. But so 0-0s have been part of their DNA of late. So they drew 0-0 again with Watford. And we see what they will come up with at home to Sunderland. Now, Sunderland, 56 points, so they're completely safe. Had a very disappointing home win against Millwall. I know yet again the fans were unhappy. They've just got to get to the end of the season, sort this manager position out, and really just get somebody and stick with him. You can see, I keep saying, the teams near the bottom of the league, of the ones that have changed managers, twice, if not 3 times at least, and that's why they're struggling. You just cannot play a 46 game program and change your head voice, as it were, so many times, and it just doesn't work. But that's football. The pressure is on if you lose a few games these days. There's no, it's just so highly charged in that way. So I think Watford will find the net this week, with Sunderland just having again the party day, as I say, and it'll be Watford 2, Sunderland 0. Then we have Hull and Ipswich Town, which is the 8 o'clock kickoff on Saturday night. Hull are praying, or have got to rely on West Bromwich Albion and Norwich to drop points. One win for either of those two sides, or both of them, really just closes off the playoff scenario just about completely. Norwich, Hull have only got a +9 goal difference, and Norwich and West Bromwich Albion are 16 and 23 plus goal difference respectively. So one win knocks out Hull, practically and also knocks out Coventry. So West Brom and Norwich have got a free hit in their next game, really. Just go for it and see what happens. So Hull City then are hoping that happens. They are playing Ipswich Town. Ipswich Town are right in the thick at the top, obviously, with a game in hand as well. It's not in their hands though, because as we'll talk about Leicester shortly, they have pulled it round very well indeed. After a sort of, they were upset with the fans were upset with them, and everybody seemed to be upset with them for a while. But even the Football League were upset with them for a while, giving them those bans and stuff, so points and threats and everything else. So we have Hull and Ipswich. Will Ipswich pull it round? I think they will give this a go, and I think Hull will know that they've got to try and score a few goals, so they might just go for it as well. So I think it'll be Hull City 1, Ipswich Town 2. So one game to go of the regular programme for the weekend, and then we've got that game in hand just to look at on Tuesday night. So on Monday night then it's Preston North End against Leicester City, and Leicester City now they need a point. I think I've got to get my maths right. I think they need a point. That will take them. Yeah, no, they can't quite do it yet. They've got to. If they win the game, they'll be on 97 points on Monday night. But it does depend on what's happened prior to, so we can't really speculate too much on what a win will do for them, other than cement them very nicely at the top of the league. It is in their hands. So what I was trying to waffle on about just now is if they win both their games, they will go up as champions. It's as simple as that. So they know the equation. They've known that for a few weeks, but they keep slipping up, and the other team slipping up has kept it in their hands, so to speak. So they will see the target of 100 points. They will see the target of promotion back to the Premier League. And overall, probably, they've been top for so long, so many weeks. Overall, it's probably the deserved team. I did fancy Leeds, and I would still like to see Leeds do it, but it does mean Leicester losing or not winning either game. And don't see that, if I'm honest. And Preston certainly are there for the taking, because they fought 3 defeats on the trot. I don't think they've scored a goal in those 3 matches. They've completely lost their way right in the last half dozen games or so, when they sort of got themselves into the picture a little bit. So I think Leicester will go there and comfortably win, get to 97 points, and we don't know, as I say, whether that will be a time for real celebration or not, depending on what's happened on the Saturday. So it's all to play for. So I'm going to go Preston North End 0 here. Leicester City 3. Preston North End 0, Leicester City 3. So that's the weekend programme. We've got the game in hand. That means that currently is why Coventry and Ipswich are both on 43 games. And so Ipswich again, it may mean something by Tuesday, it may not. They may be thinking about playoffs, but I'm going to predict that they're good. A, are going to need something, and B, that they will win the game too. So Coventry, as I say, playing out there, catching up their games with their fantastic cup run. They absolutely shouldn't be disappointed about their season at all. They had a poor start, if I recall. And there's even talk about Mark Robins being under pressure at that point. And as I was saying earlier, that's how quickly it could all change, really, from being hero to zero and zero back to hero again. That's football at the moment in this mad world we are in. But Coventry have lost 3 league games on the trot. Probably just clearly had other things on their mind. So I think on Tuesday night, they'll want to sign off in style with their final home game. I think it's their final home game. It will be, and I think Ipswich will come into town, get the points they need. And that could change if there's nothing on the game. We don't know, but we shall see. And I'm going to go. It's Coventry City 1, Ipswich Town 3. So there we have it. The programme from now until Tuesday, and then we come back next week for the all-important 46th and final match for everybody. And we will know perhaps a bit more by then about what's needed and who exactly needs to do what. Well, we will know exactly who needs to do what, but which teams are involved in that equation, we will find out. So have a great footballing weekend. Not much left to enjoy now, so make sure we need to squeeze the football sponge, and get every ounce we can, every drop out we can out of it. Let's go and have a nice weekend. Everybody take care, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.